Like, I invented the kale chip, for example, that everybody loves today. And the original kale chip was good.
They're so mad, it's like, why don't you just calm down for a minute and let's talk about things like a rational human being. Maybe we can get to the bottom of why you feel like the way that you feel, and maybe that's probably the reason you don't believe in God. Not because of the evidence, it's because of the way that you feel.
Right, so I lost all of my muscle and my size that took me years to earn.
Because evolution is true, and because everything can create itself out of nothing.
I was weaning myself off of food and everything.
Explosions don't create natural law and order, they create chaos. But yet we have unchanging laws. Where do these laws come from? Where do they arise?
I became a monofruitarian. That's a person that eats just one type of fruit every month or whatever's in season.
They flew here on the back of comets. That's what you believe. You believe that squid and octopus eggs were attached on the back of comets. They flew and they landed in the ocean, and then they became mortal enemies with one another. That's the logic that you bring to the table with evolution.
And I'm going to put you on all rice for the next, 3 weeks.
And fossils of a whale preserved, and that would be from a flood. They would have to be buried very quickly. Now, why would we find whales never find a whale on a mountain unless it happened from Noah's flood? That's it. There is no other.
Just eat fruit.
Dinosaur dung is full of grass.
They can break down and they can handle these heavy metals because there's a lot more processing going on and they can exfoliate it, get rid of it. Humans don't. We end up storing it into our fat and we can't get rid of it very good.
Well, then we would have no eyebrows. We would have evolved our eyebrows completely away because it's the worst place in the world to put hair on the face. It would be right above the eyes.
They died because their body, their fat was so full of toxins that when they started losing weight really, really quickly, those toxins dumped into their bloodstream. They became very, very sick.
Like every month there's a new root common ancestor. If you ever follow the research, it's like, what did we descend from? About 6 months ago, it was a sponge. Do you know why? Because that was found in the lowest layers of rock. Well, later they came along and, it was a stromatolite, and because that was in the lowest layer. Well, last month, guess what? It was a worm. Now we're descended from worms. Worms are the oldest ancestor. Well, guess what? Worms burrow. That's why they're deeper.
So I'll take the cashews and I'll ferment them up and I'll make a cheese.
And that we see more primitive life the lower levels we get. But what we're actually looking at is evidence of the flood in the most basic form you could ever see. Like I was saying, what are in the lowest layers? Well, we have worms. Well, worms, when they're flooded over, they try to survive by actually burrowing. They actually do the opposite of what they probably should do, but they know that they're safer underground. So you're going to find them in the deepest layers. That's exactly what we find. Then we find stromatolites. Now, those are living organisms that are anchored to the ground that look like giant sponges. They don't move either. So what's going to happen in a flood? They're the first to be buried. They can't leave it. Then you're going to get things like trilobites. And then trilobites, what do? They can only crawl. So they're the next to die. Then you get sponges. They're the next to die. And then everything after the sea, water starts to go on land and bury the life there. What do we look at when we look at the geologic chart? We literally see aquatic life that can't move very good at the bottom layers, then the aquatic life that can move, then land life, and then that can't move good, and then land life that can move good, and then birds. Right? So we're seeing what exactly we should see if there was a global flood, but they've turned the evidence into their own theory, saying, no, this is proof that we evolved from that worm.
Because planes fly over everywhere, and they're dropping chemicals out of them, right? As the jet fuel dissipates, as it's being burned off, it falls back to Earth. And
Thanks for watching. Before you go, I'd like to say a special thank you to my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Bent Hovind, Jimmy Perry, Ian Chen, Sphincter of Doom, Chris Love, and Henry Hutanen. All of their support helps make this channel possible, and if you'd like to join the team, links to both join the channel as well as the Patreon are down in the description. Tiers start as low as $1, and they get you access to the exclusive, patron-only Discord server, as well as early access to almost all of my videos. However, if a monthly pledge isn't right for you, but you still want to support the channel, there are links to my Teespring store, and of course, liking and sharing this video always helps. I'm the Dapper Dinosaur.